already hungry.
Yeah. So this is the first time that I've known. This is the least I've known a guest for a podcast, which is cool. So the few listeners can hear us kind of get to know each other maybe a little bit. We talked a little bit Saturday. But what's interesting to me, and you guys can tell me what's interesting to you, it's dealer's choice, so you go with topics that are most interesting. But to me is maybe when you first felt the calling of whatever, something more, the kind of baseline thing that our culture feeds us maybe isn't quite the whole picture, right? When you maybe had that first inclination, what teachers spoke to you, maybe what experiences happened, and you guys can pick amongst yourself who wants to go first. Ladies first.
Yeah.
Ladies first.
Thank you, I guess. Should I say my name and
You
stuff,
should. I'm
or
so bad at
maybe,
this. Okay, so this is Dream Talking, and we have with us, introduce yourselves.
Barbra
and
der Vlucht.
And Roman.
And Roman. Barbra is from the Netherlands.
Yeah.
You can share the town if it's interesting.
Yeah, it's called Leiden, and it means suffering in English, so it's funny.
I love it.
Or in
Suffering.
Yeah, suffering.
That's heavy.
Yeah, quite.
And you are from Germany.
Yeah, I'm from Germany, near Saarbrücken.
Okay. Maybe a few people out there might know where that's at. Okay, so Barbra, do you have a memory of when it first started getting a clue, maybe? Or something more?
Well, it was kind of forced, maybe, because I started suffering.
Yeah.
And I studied psychology, and then the master's was neuropsychology.
Oh my God.
And I was kind of...
so awesome. I love neuropsychology.
Really?
Oh, yes, that's my shit.
Okay.
I love it, yes. Okay, cool. I'm very interested.
Well, I was kind of looking for truth and consciousness in the brain, I guess.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
So it was partly...
Using consciousness to find consciousness.
In the end, but I didn't know that yet. I was only disappointed.
That's good.
Yeah. And then after finishing that, I truly felt disappointed because I couldn't find it in the matter and in the biology. And then went on a vacation with my brother and sister afterwards, but I wasn't so happy. And I felt increasingly discontent, and also I had all these goals for how I should be smart, successful, beautiful.
Yeah.
And it all kind of crumbled down. And then with the disappointment of the biology thing, and I landed in this 8 months pretty heavy despair and depression. And I went back to live with my parents also. And there I found in the bookshelf of my mom Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now.
No way. That book was a big thing for me. Power Now too. That book. Yeah. Wow. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Krishnamurti also.
Krishnamurti. Yep.
And I started to go to the local library, like 2 streets away almost, every other day or so. And the other days I would go to the forest and back and forth for a few months.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, when you first opened up The Power Now.
Yeah.
And so, okay, I'm sorry, I got to throw myself in there too.
Yeah.
So when I read The Power Now, I was 18, I think, maybe 17 or 18. And in one of the first chapters, he said, "You are not your thoughts." And that's the first time I ever remember hearing that and really connecting with, oh shit, I've spent my whole life thinking I am my thoughts. If I think it, it's got to be me. And for the first time ever, I'm not the thoughts. And I think maybe now this is with the language I've developed since then, you're not your thoughts, you're that which is aware of the thoughts.
Yeah.
That was very revelatory for me at that time. And it really opened. And then also the concept of like, there only is the now, right? Everything else is a concept, right? Like we're here. And that was the first time that was really introduced to me in sort of a way that made sense. Yeah. And then it's been a journey since then to a deepening in that understanding and a building a vocabulary around it to be able to explain it.
Yeah.
You know, but
Yeah.
that's really interesting, and that book of all things, and this people I talk to tend to have that same story of like feeling there was something more. So it sounds like you were looking for consciousness, or maybe you were looking for the root of consciousness, or where does it come from, or so that's sort of like a hero's journey story of like I know there's something more. I'm looking for it. It's the Buddha too. I don't find it. I'm completely defeated. I know it's hopeless, and then something's realized at that point. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And so I love hearing that story. I can't hear enough of it. I was like, it's in the despair. It's in the giving up that all of a sudden something's revealed.
Yeah. It was actually a little bit before also, now think of it, because there was this teacher in the university who already gave a class and was in group dynamics. And he already drew on the board the difference between essence and patterns. And that was the first time when I thought, oh shit, I see a lot of patterns, but what is essence? So that was even before the book.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never heard that. So what would you say the distinction between essence and patterns are? Do they just sort of trigger something, or do you?
He said, you are not your patterns. And he drew in the middle kind of a dot with essence. But he didn't say so much about essence. More like qualities, like love and joy. And transparency, perhaps, or I don't know. I don't remember exactly. But I just recognized that the patterns, were the conditioned behavior, conditioned beliefs, habitual,
Mm-hmm.
and those were mostly at the time I recognized all over, and that was a little bit of a shock.
Yeah. To see what maybe we unconsciously see as like people making decisions every day. I'm going to decide to do that. You start going, oh wait, they're stuck in this groove. I remember visualizing that when I was younger, of like. You have an open field of grass, but then you start taking the same path every day, and you start wearing down that, and then everything around it grows, and that we think of it as like, I'm free to take anywhere I want. I'm just choosing this path. Like, no, it's built into our biology, into our neurology to follow the same stuff, and it's very scary to step outside of those grooves.
Yeah.
One of the first things for me was actually, I didn't start smoking cannabis and stuff until I was like maybe 16, 17, and when I did, that was like, oh, there's another groove. It was very clear, and I used to, like, I would smoke, and then I wouldn't want to party or hang out. I want to like sit by myself and contemplate, or maybe go for a walk and contemplate. And there was a seeing of like, oh, these patterns are that I think is me, that there's agency there. It's just, this habit rolling along, and then I can like see, and now I'm seeing the pattern. It's very Paul way of saying it. Instead of like being the problem, you're seeing the problem. And if you're seeing the problem, you can't be the problem. So the pattern and essence thing is definitely something very interesting there. I can see that triggering
That triggers,
yeah.
And also to see that a lot of the behavior I was doing and the beliefs I had, I didn't feel quite effortlessly fitting. They came from, for example, what I seen other people do or think. Yeah. And I was just following.
Yeah, it was conditioned. Or it was, And so maybe when you read Eckhart Tolle, you were like, oh, this is saying something I've been looking for.
Yeah.
Or saying a truth that I've been waiting to hear, maybe.
It made more sense than all the other things I thought I knew.
Yeah, that was, I think I told you guys Saturday, that was Alan Watts for me.
Oh.
The first time I heard Alan Watts, do you know Alan Watts?
Yes.
Yeah. First time I heard Alan Watts speak Berkeley Public Radio, I was like, oh my God, he's saying it. No one else is talking about this. Everyone, like he's pointing out the things that I'm seeing. He's putting language to this level of observing reality that no one else is, and other people were. I just didn't know. For me, it was the first.
Kind of that feeling that how does he know that I know that?
Right? Yeah, totally. Like I thought I was the only one. I thought I was the only one that was crazy, or that. Yeah. So that's very cool. Okay, so let's say we have the depression, the despair, the giving up. hints of I don't mean to trivialize it. I'm sorry. I'm bad at that.
It's fine. I don't feel like you're doing that.
Okay. But you know, when you're in it, I know, believe me, I've been in it, and it's like it's the heaviest, you know.
Yeah, you've been in it as well.
Oh yeah, I've been in depression, suicidal thoughts.
It's
Yeah.
not fun, eh?
Fuck no, it's the worst. It's hell.
Yeah.
Hell can be a reality here
Yeah.
on Earth, 100%, and I've been in it. Yeah. So I didn't mean to trivialize, but I'm saying, so we're starting to open up. We're starting to find Eckhart Tolle, Krishnamurti. What happened from there? I know you got, well, obviously I should have started with this. You guys are on a spiritual-ish trip, vacation, as we speak, yeah?
Yeah.
This is your first time in California?
Yes.
Not for me, but
me.
for him.
Yeah.
For me, it's the first time.
Yeah.
And you mostly came to see Paul? Is it?
Or a bit first? Yeah.
Okay.
It's
You
really.
can say this.
Hey, yeah.
Oh, he's not
I got-
introduced yet. He's really not
I
speak
thought
there
I
for.
did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did
Yeah.
already.
Okay.
So yeah, we were booking a retreat with Francis Lucille
Okay.
in the beginning, and we wanted Paul in. So one
Yeah.
in the south and
There you go.
the good teacher in the north.
So you
and,
saw her somewhere in like LA or?
around LA in Temecula.
Okay,
It's,
yeah.
It's Francis Lucille. He's
Yeah.
a French guy, and
I said
he's
she.
a student of Jean Klein. He's
Okay.
a little bit more known. I think his teacher even. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
He-
very
Yeah.
little.
There's
know
another
about most of it,
lineage
yeah.
that goes from Jean Klein to Francis Lucille, and Francis Lucille initiated or woke up Robert Spira.
Okay.
Maybe he is more known.
Yeah.
He's the best known
Teacher.
teacher.
Okay.
So he draws also a lot of people, and that is classical Advaita.
Okay.
It's really
all
Jean
Advaita.
Klein went to India and
Yeah, okay.
got everything there, and was there the guys and.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Right on.
we went first to Francis with a different format in his retreats, and then to Paul.
You're on a whole different kind of retreat over here.
Yeah, and, yeah.
Oh, I
that
love it.
that will be the
So,
interesting
yeah.
thing, because Paul is really special in some ways.
Yeah.
Maybe later we touch that.
Oh, absolutely.
So
yeah.
it's,
Okay. So
yeah.
because I'm terrible with names, Francis Lucille.
Yes.
Okay. So the Francis Lucille retreat, was it like silent retreat? Was it meditative retreat?
Yeah,
How many days was it?
it was 15 days.
Oh shit, that's
It
serious.
was really long, 2 weeks without a break.
Yeah.
So one retreat ended on Saturday morning, and the other started at Saturday evening. So we basically had
Straight through.
straight through 15 days of every day. Yeah, his format is to do first 3/4 of an hour of silent sitting, meditation, and then he does Kashmir yoga, which is a really.
I do
that
know
is a
Kashmir yoga.
You know
yeah,
that?
I got a book on it.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. It's like a very Invita, right? Kind of
Yeah.
it's like realizing the oneness, or
Yeah, it's
but
it's,
actual experiential, like practices.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because according to the teaching of those guys, you can question your mind,
Yeah.
because your mind is identified with you as a limited being, but you are in reality unlimited
Yes.
consciousness, and so you can question your mind to find proof that you are limited. And you do this until you really are sure that you are an unlimited being. That is a very mental approach.
Yeah, yeah.
And to this, there are residues of ignorance. They call this state of taking yourself as a limited being as ignorance. And there are traces of ignorance in your energy body. And the approach of this Kashmiric yoga is that if you close your eyes and feel your body, you will notice that it has no boundaries. And so
Yeah,
beyond
I've done
it
that
is
exercise.
space. And
Yeah,
then
yeah,
you
yeah.
offer everything that you feel to space, basically.
Okay.
And that makes the feeling sense of your body more and more transparent when you do it.
Yeah.
It's a little
Okay.
trick almost.
Yeah, yeah,
but-
yeah.
but
It's like
you-
it's an exercise. It's a
yeah.
Right
it's
on.
really an exercise.
Okay,
It's
so that's like
prescriptive.
totally in my wheelhouse. This is
Ah, yeah,
my
okay.
favorite shit. Yeah.
Ah,
So
okay,
okay,
yeah.
do you guys know Dzogchen? Dzogchen
No.
Tibetan. Okay, you're gonna love it. It's, to me, what you were explaining sounds like Dzogchen, basically.
Ah,
It's
okay.
Tibetan Buddhism.
Yeah.
Do you guys know Sam Harris? He's an author.
Who is
He wrote a book called Waking Up. He's known as an atheist. This is his big shtick, but he wrote a book called Waking Up. the A Guide to Spirituality Without Religion. And he's a neuroscientist.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he got a PhD in neuroscience. I don't think he basically is a writer and a podcaster now.
Yeah.
But he has every episode, if you're playing the game, take a shot. I bring him up every episode, and I bring the app up every episode. It's called Waking Up, where he does 10 to 20 minute guided meditations every morning. And the exercise, he starts off with it's just follow your breath, simple stuff. And then over time, you start doing stuff like look for your own head. Have you ever heard any of the headless way stuff?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Look for your own
Exactly.
head.
Yeah.
Your
Nothing's there.
face.
Yeah. Look for your face.
It's empty.
Look for your own eyes. It's empty.
Yeah.
There's nothing there.
Empty space.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So he does stuff like that. He'll do stuff like feel your body as what it really feels like, which is just kind of there's like little vibrations, little whatever, but the shape of your body. If you close your eyes, you can't feel the shape of your body.
Exactly.
He calls it a cloud of sensations.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly
So
the same approach.
I do it every day in the morning,
yeah.
and it's like freaking. I couldn't live without it.
Yeah.
And then throughout the day, I just do like a look for your own head, and it's like being on mushrooms.
Without mushrooms.
Without
mushrooms. Yeah.
Stone cold sober every day. If you could go back in a time machine and tell me like 3 years from now, the level of happiness, day-to-day magic, day-to-day just feeling connected, you never could have sold me that I'd feel this way. But it's I'm down.
Yeah.
I think the little bit I've heard of Kashmir yoga sounds very similar to
Yeah.
the exercises that Sam Harris talks about, that the Dzogchen tradition talks about. Keith is super into Dzogchen. He actually he did meditations and stuff a lot longer.
Can you spell this first word? Is it starting with a D?
It starts with a
D? With
Z.
a...
Dzogchen. I always say it wrong too. I add a B. I don't. We can Google it.
Yeah, but I think I saw several books about this.
Yeah,
this topic.
I think you guys would really be into it.
Yeah, that's
and it
really...
it ties back into also what you're talking about, the looking for the I, or you were saying looking for the self. What was it? We are questioning.
For the limited entity
The
that
limited
you
entity.
think you are.
Yeah, you limit yourself to like the meat of the brain and the body, and you're questioning
Exactly.
that. That's very Ramana Maharshi too, which is self-inquiry.
Yeah.
So that same thing. Like daily, I'll be like, okay, this sounds extreme. I'm kind of extreme on certain things. I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna die in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Who's gonna die? And I just get this extreme feeling of peace. You can almost see like a little storm going off of like the anxiety of, no, I don't want to die. But you can just watch that and just go, I'm here. I've been here. Like I trip out on that. The idea of like when the moment of death comes, it's going to be just like this moment.
Yeah.
It's going to be conscious awareness on.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
So it's like a daily practice for me. I'll do it a couple times a day. Like I'm going to die in 10 seconds.
That's nice.
I'll remember that.
And then I'll say who's going to die in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Exactly.
My
That's cool. The funny thing is, if you do this Kashmiric yoga in this other way, you get exercises like just try to imagine or feel your brain and your eyes, and then let your eyes fall out of their sockets when you have your eyes closed, and land slowly on your shoulder, and then the brain splits in the middle, slides down the sides of your head, and comes to rest on your shoulders too. You start exercises like that where you completely dissolve your feeling body in the strangest ways.
I love
to
that.
get to disidentify with the whole structure, so it's no longer an identification point, and that's really helpful.
Cool. I know there's a lot of I don't know exactly which Buddhists are into it, but they have you like meditate on like your reproductive system, like your colon, like the grossest things possible. And just be like if I really don't want to identify as that, but that is just as much the body as the mind and the electrochemical shit that's firing off and everything else, right? So if you either are all of it, or you say you're that which is aware of all of it.
Right.
You know what I mean? We're very, traditional human conditioning is very selective.
Yeah.
It's like
very much.
I'm identified with my face now because I'm young and beautiful, but like 10 years from now I'm not anymore. Now I'm identified with my like cleverness and my like
then senility comes in.
we're looking for like the best ones, but we're like cutting out 95% of you know. It's like you're none of it. You know, we're just I believe we're just this. Paul has you've probably seen on his car, empty phenomenon rolling on.
If we are lucky, he might bring one of those stickers because we asked him cockily yesterday when he got them.
I have an extra one at home. I should have brought. Maybe I can mail it to you guys or something. Yeah. I got one. I have one on my computer.
Yeah, I want to.
That
too.
I use.
It's so cool.
Yeah, it's awesome, isn't it?
It's awesome.
Empty phenomenon rolling on.
No one will get the joke.
Yeah,
that's fine.
But if somebody gets it,
you
know, hey, you're real.
That's a real.
Sorting.
That's a conversation starter for sure. Yeah. Okay, so time-wise, I'm already. We got time. Okay, so I'm so bad. It's
just the bus.
It's just the bus. Don't worry, guys.
You're not exploding.
To set this scene, we're on the corner of Arguella and Clement in San Francisco. Beautiful corner. I love this area. Yeah.
Golden sun is shining from behind, but it's cold.
Man, you guys got the good seats. The sun.
You sat there.
Yeah, I know. Sun shining down through the trees. Yeah.
Semi-warm tea. It's perfect.
Yeah, and I'm drinking a cold.
And you have
you want some
flip-flops. You wear flip-flops. I don't know. You're really.
I'm Californian
guy. Yeah.
I gotta wear boots at work, and any chance to get out of my boots, I'm like barefoot. Let the feet be free.
Do you have barefoot shoes as well?
I don't. I want to get them.
It's cool.
Really worse.
For years
now.
Yeah, I want to get some. Maybe you can recommend me a good brand.
Yeah, many.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay. So for the sake of the podcast, we were talking about you finding. Okay, so before this trip, any other interesting experiences, teachers?
Maybe
gurus?
we have to mention we met at at a retreat of Adyashanti.
Adyashanti?
Yes.
No way.
Yes.
So he's local, you know that?
Yes.
Yeah, very much so.
Oh, yeah, Adyashanti's he's top for me.
Yeah.
I haven't met him,
also.
but I really need to go to one of his talks because he's
talks are good.
He's a super
deeply felt.
Right on the point. I've said this before on the podcast. He reminds me of my mom in a weird way. Like if my mom was a guy, but my mom's not spiritual like that, but just his face, the way he talks, everything. So there's some sort of a real connection, healing going on.
Familiarity. In a strange way.
There's a lot of connection when I hear him talk.
Yeah.
He's like the opposite of Paul in a lot of ways. That he's so just gentle and warm and inviting, and you know. I found Adyashanti before Paul, actually.
Yeah.
I listened to him for about 6 months before finding Paul. And in whatever realizing, we can make up a story, but he got me very far along the way.
Yeah.
And Paul kind of gave me the last slap.
Slap.
Bitch slap.
Yeah. He gave me the last bitch slap.
Yeah. It's really...
Yeah. And it's funny, too. I remember I haven't got this on the podcast yet. I think the second meeting I went to, he said, after everything was done, and I was talking about something, I'm still trying to be a good student and ask the right questions and stuff.
Yeah.
And he goes, hey.
That's my hang up too.
Yeah.
Recognize it.
Luckily it eventually fell away, but who knows. He goes, when you get knocked out, don't get back up. That hit me in a place where I saw a shift.
I
used to
very
do
good point.
Yeah.
I like it.
When you get
resonates.
Yeah. Because we've all been knocked out.
Yeah.
But then
try to
every persona.
Yeah, and the mask goes back on, and then we're back to believing we're the limited self, or we're and it's just be all right with being knocked out.
Yeah.
And then you can go to the next levels, you're already knocked out.
Yeah.
This little activity that's telling you you are the separate self is like it holds no weight on what you actually are.
Yes.
What we actually the actual consciousness as a whole. It's this very tiny activity, this very tiny contraction is telling you it's the whole show. You know.
Over the day, we drift so often out of this limitation into moments of complete, I don't know, peace, integration. Always when we are concentrated with something that draws us, that is really interesting, then we're completely immersed and no thought about you or me, nothing. But we always have this icing on the cake of limitation, and that is our core around everything.
And that's whatever. That's what we're here to do. Maybe is see past that, or work with it, or it's kind of maybe like a more Christian mystic version is like you are this incarnation and the suffering, and even Buddhism too. Like the suffering of this is the lesson, and having this very limited meat suit that you carry around.
The meat suit.
It is actually. It's like it's part of the curriculum. And it's easier said than done because when you're in it, you believe you're in it. It seems to be very
highly
true.
magnetic, the whole thing.
Okay, so you met at an Adi Shanti retreat in Europe?
Yeah, he comes almost every year, a few years in a row now, to Holland. So that's where we met.
Oh,
nice picture.
The way the sun's shining on both your faces is really awesome right now too, actually. It's really cool. One of the things I'm freaking talking about myself too much, but one of the things that has happened as whatever the awakening happens is reality become like a movie, but better. Like I say, this is better than any video game, any movie. Like it's a 5 cents. Look how freaking beautiful the city is.
Many pixels.
Infinite pixels. It's like better than 4K.
Yeah.
Human interaction, looking in someone's eyes, like it's like this is so much better than anything you can buy. And I'm sounding like a straight, stoner mushroom head right now. But seriously, like when sober as hell, and it's like the gift that's right here.
It's completely miraculous, right?
Yeah, it's completely magic.
What is this?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And that was when I was young, one of the questions, like, what is this? Why?
Yeah.
Why this? It could have been anything.
With all these details. Roman told me, we were also in Paris with Francis Lucille.
Okay.
And I don't know why, but I was kind of grumpy because things were not perfect. And then he told me that in video games, when they construct an environment in a video game, it's actually the best video games who have all these details that are not perfect.
Yes.
Like a gum on the street or a paint here or there, or spots and things.
Yeah, they build the immersion.
Yeah.
If it's too algorithmic, you sense, this is a
It
fake
feels
environment.
fake.
It feels
Exactly.
fake. So exactly the imperfections make this whole thing so real.
That's very Alan Watts. Alan Watts has a whole thing about Oriental rugs that they put a mistake in every one.
Yeah.
They put a mistake just to, if it was perfectly perfect, you'd be like, it's not real. You can't connect with it.
Yeah.
But you have to put a flaw, like a mistake, quotes.
Yeah.
I'm doing quotes, doesn't translate to the podcast, but a mistake to be like, oh, that's real.
Yeah.
I connect to that
gives
because I know I'm not this perfect.
Now I understand, because my parents have a rug like that in the house, and I saw that there is this black spot that doesn't fit with all the rest of it.
It was on
now
purpose.
I know why.
It was on purpose.
It's a real rock.
There you go.
Real good one.
I'm explaining the spot.
Yeah.
So
cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah. No, but Adi Shanti has a really, really deep role in a sense. Oh, he's going to Africa. Yeah. I went to maybe 7 retreats.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. All in
California, New York,
here too.
or close to New York is Omega.
Yeah. Up north, probably up North
And
City.
in Holland, yeah. And England, yeah.
And you've sat with them one-on-one, or?
No,
just
only
in group
retreats.
setting.
Also, never asked the question, but the silent format of the retreat also does something that you really don't speak for 5 or 7 days. That,
Yeah, certain things reveal themselves. That's so. My guy is Ramana Maharshi, and he has a lot of things about like the truth is in the silence. As soon as you go to speak, you're already obscuring the truth.
That,
Yeah.
And at the end of such a silent retreat, when I started to speak, that's exactly what it felt like. I got these words, like,
Yes, totally. It's like, have you guys done psychedelics, mushrooms? Or,
Yeah.
Okay.
A little bit.
So after a mushroom trip, you go to explain to someone what it was like.
Yeah.
And for me, and then I hear myself, and I'm like you're not saying it at all.
No.
Like you're shortchanging this incredible experience by trying to use words to explain it. It's way beyond words.
Yeah,
you
so
know?
limiting.
Yeah,
words for
like
that.
this,
Yeah.
you're taking a 10-dimensional thing and trying to put it into one dimension. It's just words. When it's, that's a mushroom thing for me. Is like if I listen to music, you hear as you simultaneously feel the music, as you simultaneously are. Like an image is popping into your mind, like if your eyes are closed. So it's like, it's all, it's a cliche, but like I am the music.
Yeah.
And then you go to like, even now as I'm explaining, I'm like, it's so cheap to try to explain it. You gotta feel it to connect with it. So
And Adya says that his job, because he speaks also in satsang, is to fail well.
fail well. Yeah. Fail.
I love that.
Yeah. The best fail. The best attempt.
Best possible failure.
Yeah, and I do have a bias towards like language, I guess. So they call it Jnana yoga. There's different kinds of yogas, and Jnana yoga is using the mind to go beyond the mind.
Okay.
So I would say that's like what Paul does. Is he's talking about it. It's not in the words, but the words are pointing to. And to me, I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube. I've read a lot of books. I've probably come across 50 to 100 different people trying to do that. And to me, he's like the cleanest, clearest.
Yeah.
Gets it every time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gets past you every time.
Gets past it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Great.
And I'm just so thankful that I found him and that he happens to be local. He could be anywhere.
So lucky.
I'm so
in that
freaking
sense.
lucky. It's I couldn't have wrote this script if I tried. Yeah. So okay. So bunch of Adyashanti retreats. You guys met at Adyashanti retreat.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Was it during the silent portion? So I just asked, when you met at the retreat, was it during the silent portion of the retreat?
Yeah. It was
can tell us
because
that.
basically I met her.
Okay.
I didn't meet him yet.
Okay.
It was the first year. I found her really interesting, running around, and she really caught my interest. I wanted to speak to her.
You were a first year.
First year,
She was
just
like senior.
She was a senior already.
She was like master.
Simply,
She was in the master class.
She was a master class. I think one more retreat and she gets one for free.
Her stamp card. Awesome.
Safeguard.
Okay.
Yeah. And so after the retreat, I talked to a woman who was born awake. She came to me and started talking to me and tell me her story.
Born awake.
Born awake.
Wow.
She never got this contracted entity in her. She
never
never
heard of
understood
such a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, she was at the last retreat too.
Okay.
And she never got this gender thing. She never understood male, female,
What?
this body. Yeah,
I need
yeah.
to meet
it has-
this lady or
it's
genderless
very,
being.
very interesting, but prone to many problems in life, which
I
we
bet,
never.
yeah. How are you gonna?
Really?
You're not
Yeah.
socialized. You're not.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you
How
adapt
do you
to
do that?
culture?
It's really so. And she talked to me for some minutes, and then I ran to find her. In the minute that we could speak again, she was gone. And that was in the first year. And so I was devastated, and because I cannot write Adyashanti, there was a nice girl at the retreat. Could I meet her? Silent retreat.
So you waited a year?
So I thought, fuck, I'm screwed for a year. And I waited, and the next year, when I ran as the last person into
I
the
can't
meditation
even.
hall,
This is so
she
cool.
was...
So cool.
it was...
That's better than a movie.
Yeah, it was better than a movie.
so cool.
Yeah. And then I found her and said, this year I will speak to you after the retreat. And we did. And
I said,
so...
okay.
Okay. That was really like a Disney movie.
Yeah.
Meditation Disney movie. Oh, thank you so much.
So where
So,
my head
yeah,
goes,
but they-
because I've had experiences of like seeing the girl and not saying the thing I wanted to say.
Yeah.
In my life.
Sucks.
That's
Yeah.
me and my wife. It wasn't a year. But it was, I let time pass, more time than I should have, and then I lost out and no way of getting a hold of her. So my head goes right to that year. Must
have been, yeah, it was quite...
like purgatory.
Yeah, it's still, I remember it's still very...
Yeah, and in your reality, you're like, just going along.
Blessed with oblivion about this.
Yeah,
oh my gosh. That is the coolest story.
Yeah,
right on.
It was quite something. Yeah.
This was how long ago?
Oh, it was 2016, I think.
Okay. So
but it still took 2 years or 2.5 years until we...
After the first talk.
Yeah.
You really
we started. Yeah, because she's living 500 kilometers, so 300 miles away.
Okay. Yeah.
And that is not something that you don't drive there.
Yeah, that's not a day trip.
Yeah, that's not a day trip, and
so.
But still,
you don't have to if it's too personal. But you guys live together now?
No,
okay.
not yet.
No, okay.
But I was since it started a year ago. I think I was in Germany for 4 weeks. And the rest of the time I spent in Holland because it's so nice and it's simply go where the heart leads. Yeah.
Cool. I love hearing that. That's like that's the best love story we've had so far in the podcast by far. I love that.
Funny.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. I could go a lot of places with this. It just made me again think of Adyashanti, another similar to the Eckhart Tolle realization, but for me this was a remembering when I was a kid, when I was listening to one of his books. I don't remember which one. I don't read because I don't have time, so I listen to audiobooks because I commute a lot and I listen to it while I commute. I 5 kids. I don't have time to sit and read.
Yeah.
Like they wouldn't let me. They'd climb all over me. But I was listening to one of his audiobooks and he said that he saw that all of the adults around him were suffering and angry and sad.
I remember that.
Yeah,
me too.
And he goes, why are they... He's trying to figure out why everyone was so sad. And then it hit him, they believe their thoughts.
Yeah, exactly.
And when I heard that, it instantly... Who knows, memory is a finicky thing, but I remember as a kid having the same idea of going like, well, just stop believing what you're thinking. Like, it's easy. Like, why do you listen to that authority? No one knows what the hell's going on. You could just stop listening to it and just choose to be happy. It's a very young kid, naive thing to think or whatever. But but then as you get older, you start going like, if you Paul talks about relying on the system of thought, like, it's going to take you in some deep, dark places. Where alternatively you can trust in something infinite instead of finite self. Like that's what Paul's brought me to, which none of the other Advaita Buddhist people brought me to, is this idea of like, I'm not in charge. That which thinks it's in charge is not in charge. Yeah. And surrendering to that. Yeah. And that's the whole like traveling lighter. Yeah. Like we're not getting out of this place. There's no escape, right, from your kind of role as conscious awareness in this moment. And you either like it sometimes, you don't other times, right? Yeah. But if you can travel lighter over time across it, and he says all the time, what more do you really want? Yeah. It's like everything else is just bonus. It's just extra. Yeah. Like we're talking about the peace and the bliss and the life is amazing and the magic. It's all kind of bonus. If you're traveling lighter across this, what more can you kind of ask for? Yeah. So.
Yeah, indeed.
Okay, so I'm very interested in the last couple of days you guys have been on the Paul Hederman retreat.
Yeah, spontaneous retreat.
Yeah. Which is probably very different than the Adyashanti or any other retreat.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure, as you've noticed, he's just a dude. Yeah.
It's just normal life.
Just normal.
Really.
Playing ping pong, which you're very good at, by the way.
Thank you.
I was very surprised.
Really, me too.
Yeah.
It's really good with ball games.
She's sitting there.
Amazing.
I haven't played in a while. Boom! I was like, whoa.
It was fun.
It was fun, right? Yeah. Ping pong's awesome. I don't play ever except for with them, and every time it's a real easy game to get into flow state. You just turn your mind off and just see it hit it. It's fun.
No, but one thing that I really like to say, because I'm so thankful for that in all this spiritual stuff, I just kept seeing an authority outside, up there, and trying to be obedient and, like you said, good student, and to, I don't know, do it right in some kind of way. And with Paul, it just didn't even occur to me that I had to do anything.
He's the best at that.
Right, she's destroyed that whole hierarchical spiritual trip.
Yeah. And there's more.
It's
to
very
that.
healing. I'm sure.
So grateful.
I know it's very healing for me.
Because you cannot go and reveal your spiritual ego. You go to retreats and you acquire in some way a spiritual ego, talking a certain language and all of that. And Paul simply, he doesn't go there.
Nope.
So, what the fuck? This is an enlightened master, and I'm.
Can I show you my Avita PhD?
Exactly.
I did 3 hours of silent retreat, or 3 years of silent retreats. Like, you know, to him, you might as well just be the next guy, or the next lady, you know, which is awesome. So my first time that I went to see Paul, I had an experience before seeing him in person, listening to his podcast right down the street from here. It's funny, geographically, right over at the park. I was driving, listening to his podcast. Someone asked a question, and then his answer to the question, you know, I like to say it like cracked my egg. Yeah. It was like I had to pull over. Yeah. I couldn't eat, you know. And I got out and I walked for 2 hours around the park. Just, it was like I say, the ego, selfing, it was just scrambling. It just, you know. I told him later, it felt like mortal terror. It felt like I'm gonna die. And there was like fear but bliss at the same time. And so anyway, this was listening to Zen Bitch Slap, you know, like this. Of
existential stuff.
Existential stuff hit real heavy and hard. But at the same time, it was like the most blissful experience, and there was like it was like a drug trip, but I was stone cold sober. So I went to a meeting that Saturday and met him in person, and then afterwards we went like you guys Saturday, we went and got coffee, and then we went and got lunch, and then after lunch I'm going up to him and saying like, I'm so grateful that I found you. I've been looking for this my whole life. Da 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 da. And he was like, "No, don't make a big deal about it." He's like, "I'm just a guy. You're just a guy. You want to come and hang out and have fellowship, you know, but you don't make a deal about it. You're setting yourself up for like a lot of disappointment." It was just like, and that was exactly what I needed to hear at that time, because I was ready to like fall on my knees and pray to him, you know, like not literally, but you know that, and similarly, I was just like he says, the message just comes through. It's not the messenger. There is no messenger, really. You know, that truth that we'll say he has a very good talent for speaking. That truth is here. It's I'm pointing to my heart. It's closer than close. It
rolls out, huh?
You know. And that's it. Kind of not much else to say after that. You know, it's. So it's really cool. You guys got to spend time. Go to the beach. Ride
the electric bikes.
Little
electric rides. But it's really, really fun. Fun to have.
It's when I've hung out with him outside of the talks, a lot of times it's just all, you know, pedestrian. You know, I'm an electrician, so I'll talk to him about, oh yeah, I got this thing, can you fix it? And I'll fix a little electronic or whatever. And every now and then he'll dip into a little spiritually type thing. But even as he's doing it, it's like the message is coming through, but like the personality piece of him, like, it's like, can we get this over with?
And let it through, but
you know, that's why, like, in talks more than ever now, he's like, any questions? Okay, good. He'll give you a half a second.
No questions, please.
Please, no more questions. You know,
exactly
because,
like that.
And I've talked with him about getting a T-shirt that says "Starve the Questioner." That was something he said to me early on, that I wrote, starve the question. Don't, if you feed the questioner, it's gonna keep looking for more. You know.
I think I still need to be starved.
Yeah. Hey,
Still have questions.
I help you.
I'll take it
easy.
off your plate.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's. I mean, that to have the self-recognition to know, that's a funny thing of like, I know I'm not going to get the answer, but there's still a calling in me to ask. So I'm going to keep asking until I don't have the feeling anymore.
Yeah.
You can't trick yourself like, okay, I'm really done.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you're not done, you're not
done when you're done.
Yeah.
There's something fun about contemplating also.
Oh, yeah,
to
I
look
love
at
it.
it from all these angles, to
It's like-
deconstruct it,
it's my favorite thing to do.
reconstruct it, to deconstruct it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like smoking weed and then sitting
do
there
it.
and contemplate.
Yeah.
It opens up different channels.
Yeah. It's my evening ritual, to be frank.
Oh, yeah,
I
absolutely.
smoke a little spliff before I go to bed and smoke, and then things come up from
Yeah.
the day, and
Yeah.
I like that very much.
I love it like when you're very stuck on something, like I can't believe that person at work, you
Yeah.
know, like how could they have, and you're very stuck in there, and then like a little spliff, and you're like, oh wait, yeah,
Well,
what was
what,
it?
what was the matter? What was the problem? I can't remember almost.
I cared about that.
I was disappointed. It was such a big.
What such a nice hang up for.
Why'd I waste so much time on that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a good little, and maybe you get enough reminders, and then you get the like miraculous in the moment. You realize
Yeah.
it's not a big deal either. You know?
Yeah.
That's like a little free sample you can get
Yeah.
during the day of like, oh, I did that the other day. My wife called me, and there was drama going on with the kids, and I was in it, and I put the phone down, and then it just hit me like, I could choose to keep perpetuating this, or I could just drop it, and I had dropped it, and it was like, oh man, that's freaking priceless.
Yeah.
I could
Did she
help.
appreciate it as well?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
definitely.
That's good.
Yeah. So awesome.
Great.
Man,
Really
you guys,
good.
we could hang out all day, every day. You guys
Yeah.
are right in my zone.
Very
Yeah,
for
I would
real.
love
Yeah.
to share.
Yeah.
And
It is really.
Mike and Keith too. You guys remember Keith and Mike from
I remember faces, but not so much names.
Keith, bald dude. I don't think he went till Mike was playing ping pong with
Okay,
us. Yeah. I did a
That,
podcast with him.
Tall one. Mike.
No, that's Chris.
That's Chris. Oh, another
Yeah.
one. What the heck?
So
many.
Chris, no, he won't do my podcast. He's too scared of people listening to him. So
Oh.
I'm calling you out, Chris, because I think he listens to it. He listens to it. He donates his time to Adyashanti's thing. So
Oh.
whenever Adyashanti does a speech or whatever, he goes early and sets everything up.
He's one of the volunteers.
He's one of the volunteers, yeah. And he volunteered back when he was like nobody. Like
yeah.
he said when he first started volunteering, there was like 10 of them,
Yeah.
and now there's like 80 or something. Yeah, and it's worldwide and stuff. And
Yeah.
he like one of his first local talks. So if you guys
It's
ever,
really.
yeah,
It's fun
Must
for
be
him.
2
Yeah,
decades.
that's-
yeah,
Almost.
It's been a
That is,
while. Yeah, I would say probably
doing that.
pushing 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems so. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, anyway, Keith, especially Keith, because he's into the Dzogchen. I could talk to him all day, every day.
Yeah.
I could never, and I like. It's a good thing that we don't live together, or else we'd never get anything done.
Yeah.
All we would do is talk. So, yeah, it's cool, guys.
That's also what really stood out to me in the group that goes to Paul.
Yeah.
At least the one time we saw.
Yeah.
That it seems devoid of any competition or hierarchy.
Yeah.
It's so welcoming and so easy.
Yeah.
Bunch of
So
friends
warm,
hanging
yeah.
out. That's
Oh,
exactly
yeah.
the atmosphere.
Yeah.
So I can
And I
invite
would-
everybody come to
Yeah.
Paul
it's
and this group.
right on.
It's crazy. It's
Yeah,
really fun.
and I think there's even like an excitement to see
Yeah.
each other and a wanting to share and I know for me it's like, I missed a couple. I missed like maybe 3 weeks of talks, and then Saturday was the first one I'd been to in about 3 weeks. Which
okay,
I say this every time, but I think Saturday was the best talk ever.
Yeah, really.
Oh God,
That was really.
oh man, he was in the freaking sweet spot.
Yeah.
We're
And
lucky then.
I'll attribute it to you guys because his talks do change depending on who the new person is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if the new person is like recovering alcoholic, he'll really, dive into that, and those are amazing and stuff. But when there's a newer person that's spent a lot of time on the journey, on the spiritual journey, he'll really like get down to like
Yeah.
these are all the detours, the traps, and then point them out, and then this is just see it, and then in seeing it you're not that so Saturday was the best talk
It was
ever.
so fun.
Yeah. But and there's an excitement of like oh man, I haven't seen Keith or Mike in 3 weeks. I got too much to share with them. I really and I'm very actually introverted. Like I don't like social. I hate parties. Like I want to be the person in the kitchen cleaning the dishes. I don't want to be out talking to people. I'm super introverted. But if I find people like yourself, I'm like, oh, my people.
Resonance. Finally.
Have you heard about this? Have you heard about that? Have you? And it's just, it's cool to, it's just cool to connect.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for agreeing to do this. The best love story by far on the podcast. It's so awesome. I stood up. I couldn't even.
We're still a little bit puzzled by the whole, or wondering like non-dual. Non-dual romance. Like, do you just disappear at one point?
In the beginning, she like, what? I want to be non-dually, not impersonally in love. No!
He was rooting for the personal stuff, so we got into this.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You cannot do that impersonally. It is...
Yeah, maybe I agree. I don't know.
For me, the personal relationship symbolizes simply what is possible in this dual world.
The personalness is a part of. It's not, that's what we're here for.
Exactly. To see in the personal the impersonal, and then it gets really deep. And so, but that's simply quarreling for fun.
It's fun. I think the mental state will throw whatever it can out there, right, along the way. Like when you start waking up, it'll throw out you're just under this hypnosis, or the very Paul, even Alan Watts thing of like the false self will claim to be the one that's awake.
Yes.
That's the classic. I'm enlightened now. I'm special. So one of the things it can throw out there is like I can't be loved, or because then I'm going to be attached to the love, or I'm not giving you guys relationship advice. For me, when I early on, I was telling myself I can't wake up because I'm a parent, and if I wake up, then I won't care about taking care of my kids anymore. Which sounds so ridiculous. But it was very real for me for a while. And I started looking around. Adishanti doesn't have any kids. Paul doesn't have any kids.
Evidence of your
many people. And others
but there are plenty of teachers out there that you guys know Muji. Muji has 2 or 3 kids. I think one of his kids actually passed when they were young, which is really sad. But he has a couple. His daughter goes to all of his talks and stuff. She's like in her 20s now. I just realized it's just they're all tricks. The mental state's gonna throw out anything it can. But the truth is we're here. And,
And the teacher of Adyashanti had kids?
She had a bunch, right? She had like
5 or so, 7.
What did she say? She meditated.
Meditated, moving from one room to the other. He told these 2 seconds were enough to be aware of everything and of consciousness, and then she went on to the other room. Something like that.
That's so crazy. Because I feel a similar thing. For me, it's taking the trash outside. I'll open up the door, especially if it's at night and the stars are. It won't even be planned. I'll just open up the door and I'll see the stars and like
this moment.
And I'm there and it's on, and I take the trash out and I go back inside and the kids are yelling and screaming, but even at times it's very rare there can be an awareness even of the chaos.
And the trash, right?
Just everything. Fighting off the raccoons that are all trying to get there. You're there for all of it, but there's a seeming, and there's definitely a story told that like, I was so caught up in the drama for all that time, and thank God finally I'm awake again. And it's like you're awake the whole time. There's just different stories being told, different
levels,
different identifications.
Exactly.
But
life happens on every level at the same time. You're also very aware of all the identification. It's simply
That's a cool Paul thing too, is he talks about time as being something we're dreaming.
Yeah.
Time isn't this definite, constant.
No.
We're not in it.
Yeah.
We're not in it.
Yeah, when there are no objects, there is no time.
Exactly.
That
right.
is the problem. Yeah.
So seeing time is actually something consciousness is creating.
Yeah.
Was a big one for me.
Yeah.
I didn't hear anyone else really stressing it in the way that he was.
Yeah.
And that just because I'm part of like, okay, I'm the subject, not the object or whatever. But how does time fit into that? I kept trying to like figure out, and the thing is for anything to be constant, and constant is even not a very skillful word for it.
Yeah.
But for anything to be always infinite, it has to be outside of time, and that's what we are.
Yeah.
We are that which is outside of time, and
Yeah.
I really like the metaphor because I go to listen to Paul so much. We're dreaming time.
Yeah.
We're dreaming separateness.
Yeah.
We're dreaming specialness.
Yeah.
Which,
in all of this.
But what we are is the dreaming of that dreaming.
Yeah.
Which is like, man, you see your role here.
Yeah.
Like this is an expression, this me thing.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
It's an expression of something
Far
greater, or not,
an expression
take your
of
pick.
consciousness, perhaps.
Expression of consciousness.
That was actually in the last talk that stood out for me the most. That this thing that I call a person, or me, perhaps, that it is not actually a solid.
I love. He says it's not a cause.
Oh yeah. That's what he says. It's not a cause.
It's not a cause.
Yeah.
So that's the whole. I love one of my favorite Paul metaphors: the horse in front of the cart. Right? We think that the cart is in front of the horse, that we are making decisions, right?
Exactly.
We're thinking, oh, I thought a bad thought, and now I'm thinking about the bad thought I thought, and now I'm thinking about the bad thought I thought, and I took that drink, I took that, right, whatever.
Yeah.
That, all of those activities are not, you're not the cause of it. There's that is an expression of, you could say, a higher power.
Yeah.
Right.
That's an expression of consciousness. We're thinking that the object is the cause for consciousness. Yeah. It's so when you say it that way, it's so clear it's not, but we're all under the hypnosis that it is.
Yeah.
We really think, like you're saying, the neuroscience, we think that this tiny little, brain weighs like 5 ounces is the cause of all of our awareness and intelligence and you know what I mean? It's pretty.
But the funny thing is, if you investigate, I did an experiment. How do you think?
Yeah.
If you ask them, explain to me exactly how you build thoughts in your head, or how you raise your arm.
Yeah.
How do you raise your arm? You want it to raise and it lifts up. I cannot in the least control all those little muscles, the nerves, everything it's simply not doable. Yeah. And so people always think they're master of their bodies. How? Explain to me in detail how you do it.
And when it becomes so clear, the thought came up, and then I gave it meaning. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
You can't build a thought from the ground up.
From what exactly? You can put words in
this ethereal nothing, little. You're actually like, there's something in there that's like constructing this thought, and it, it has the free will to, if it could have constructed another thought. It's just phenomena.
Yeah.
It's just empty.
It's empty.
Phenomena.
The whole thing is...
and when you see how...
And we're back to the bumper sticker.
I didn't even mean that. That's funny. I said the bumper sticker. But that's one of the many tricks. Like, see for yourself. And that's, my buddy at work that I've been going into this stuff with. I'm like, what's awesome about it is, this is an Adyashanti thing too. This is the most Adyashanti's ever come up. Is no one can give it to you. Because if someone could give it to you, they could take it away.
Yeah.
It can only be realized for yourself. Yeah. It can only be realized from the subject.
Yeah.
That's also that authority thing again. That's,
Yes.
You cannot get it from there.
No one can, because how terrible would it be if someone could give it to you?
Oh, that would be terrible.
Because they could take it away.
Yeah.
or they could have conditions. That's what Paul says. Yeah. It's always available at all times with absolutely no conditions need to be met to meet it. it's like, whoa, shit. Like, I've spent my whole life thinking there were conditions.
It's undeserved.
Dreaming of, I don't deserve it. I'll deserve it once I do the 2-year silent retreat.
Exactly.
And sit in a cave.
And sit in the cave. And
starve
eat a
myself.
vegan diet, and I, go down the line, all the shit the mind comes up with. But the thing is it's not a gaining of anything. It's a
Losing of
losing.
losing of illusion, not the gaining of truth.
You're it before any of it